Good evening, kiddies, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, the Crypt Keeper. Tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Geats, episode 27, The Sleeping Ace. God, sorry about that, man. Stupid Crypt Keeper. Anyways, welcome everybody to Riderpiece Theater. The Sleeping Ace. This is the name of our story, our tale for number 27. This episode fell flat for me. Plus, you had a couple of stupid moments in this episode. And also we had a lot of Gene in this episode. So this episode pretty much revolved around Gene mostly. And the reason that this episode fell flat for me is because of the one scene, the revelation, the spilled tea, where Gene confronts Ace in his half-asleep zombie mode that, hey, I know who you are, man. I know who you are. And it's so exciting for me, man, because the more I learn about you, the more I just want to be around you. Oh my God, him being the super fan. And it's just, I don't know. And then the stupid moment is when Chirami decides to go head to head with Azu 2.0, and he ends up getting his fingerprint scanned. He's so stupid, my God. I don't know why Niram hired him to be the game master. My God. What other stupid moment? Oh, the other stupid moment, I guess, is again that particular scene. The way it was set up, I think it would have been better off if Ace was better and just postpone it until the next episode. But that's just me. So let's get started, shall we? Evil Greenhouse Man is doing the narration. He's upset that his creatures, his squids, are being destroyed by the evil Kamen Riders. I'm surprised that he has not, went off on Michinaga for what happened last week. But he knows how to pick his battles, and also, how can you pick a fight with Kamen Rider, especially when he's handpicked by the Mistress of Games herself? So speaking of the Mistress of Games, she is angry and upset on how the last round turned out. And to be really frank, I mean, she was super close because you have, Neon and Keiwa out of the picture. You had Ace, who was close to being defeated, but he pulled the He-Man and he gets his ultimate form. So she is very angry that she was so close, yet so far. So she decides that it's time to announce round 2 of the Squid Games. So speaking... before that too, I mean, Michinaga, he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, how did Ace acquire that new form? And Daichi was like, you don't need to worry about it. Right now, we need to start planning our next part of the attack, So Daichi, it's just, as smart as he is, I mean, he should be asking the same questions too. He should be very concerned. Because for right now, the Mark II form is OP. At least until we discover the side effects. And no, this time Ace doesn't go berserk. This time he turns into Sleeping Beauty. That's the side effect. Which I appreciate, because every single time a rider gets his ultimate form, they go bonkers. At least in this case, it's a change of pace, which I like. So we get Neon and Kayla about to go get something to eat based on what they were dressed as, and it was different. They look pretty fancy, in my opinion. And you see Ace just sitting there asleep, and they were trying to wake him up a little bit. They woke him up, but he went back to sleep, I guess. And they went to the cafe to get something to eat. Keiwa is relieved that Ace is a human being. And Neon was like, yes, of course he's human. I mean, even Ace needs his sleep, you know? And this is where Jean comes in and tells them, you should be very concerned about his random sleepiness. And he introduces himself, and also mentions about the red fox, and the two of them were like, what, red fox, what are you talking about? So the Mistress of Games announces the round 2, and it's called the Sengoku Games. And the rules are pretty simple. Go get Niram, take his driver, the end. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And at the same time, the 3 riders are having a mini talk. Jean is like, well, you've been with Ace as long as I could remember. Tell me everything you know about Ace. And of course, Neon was like, well, you're his sponsor. You're supposed to know. And Jean is like, oh, crazy. Like, I need to know more about Ace, man. I need to know. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, he's so creepy. He's so possessive towards Jean, towards Ace. And you could tell by Keiwa's face, it's like, ugh. What the hell? So as they were talking, a dome takes a portion of the city, right? And some of the buildings transform into medieval castles, Japanese castles and whatnot. And then, as you can see here, the dome's magic affected Keiwa's and Neon's clothing. So you have Keiwa dressed as a ninja, and then you have Neon in a kimono. And then here comes the squids. They do the thing, and briefly you see Neon and Keiwa fighting in their regular forms. They didn't transform just yet. We see them fighting their human forms, and then they transform because now the Squid Riders have entered the fray along with Michinaga. So now that Michinaga has entered the fray, they're getting slaughtered. And after they defeated the Riders, they go to where Niram is. And mind you, Niram is outside of his building. He is in samurai gear, just sitting there, just waiting for the squids to arrive. And Jean tells, the Riders, hey, they're after Niram, So the squids and Michinaga get past Neon and Keiwa. They reach Niram, and then, of course, the other 2 riders catch up, and they try their best to hold them off, but again, they're getting beaten. Luckily, there's Ace in his samurai outfit, and briefly he fights in his human form before he uses his new ultimate form, in which he ends up beating them up rather quickly. And also Michinaga as well, so he just, in a few seconds, he just defeats them. And then next you know, everything goes back to normal, and Ace collapses. he went to sleep. Let's just face it. He went to sleep. Um, so it's just confirming what Gene has, pointed out, that it has something to do with the Mark II booster buckle that's causing him to go sleep. So we go to the waiting lounge. Ace is asleep, and Gene continues his conversation with the other two riders about what do they know about Ace. And this is where KY and Neon tells him what Ace told them a couple of episodes past about him coming from 1 AD to him trying to wish to meet up with his mom, but it didn't work. And this is where Gene was like, oh, interesting. So afterwards, he went to confront Niram. And, this is about Ace. I need to know something. And then it involves also Izu Yakumo and his first wish. And he just wanted to confirm if his wish has been granted. And Niram just comes in and just said, yeah, it's been confirmed that his wish has been granted. And this is where Gene gets all happy and giddy as usual, because he now figures it out. So this is then after the confirmation of what Gene has figured out, we go to one of the most stupidest scenes ever. And this is where Chirami, the disgraced game master, and Sumuri approaches enemy territory, and their plan is to confront the Mistress of Games and take back the Vision Driver. Those two are not fighters. Oh my god, it has to be one of the worst laid out plans ever. It's not even a plan. They just went on. They decided, okay, let's go to the castle and hopefully we could steal back the driver. Nope, it wasn't the case. Tsumuri, the voice of reason, tried to persuade him to, hey, let's go back to the Temple of Desire. Let's just go back. This is just a lost cause here. And it's just Chirami, oh my god. But at the end of the scene, the Mistress of Games got what she wanted. At the very end, she scanned the thumbprint she needed to activate the Vision Driver for her to transform, and she lets them go. That's pretty much what happened. Thank you and goodbye. Oh my god. This man, I swear. Oh god. Okay. After that stupid scene happened, we go to this particular scene, which was meant to be like a shocker scene, because this is where Gene confronts the half zombie Ace and just tells him what he knows. However, by the end of the scene, it just felt very flat, because it's the right place at the wrong time, because you have Ace who just woke up and needs to go somewhere. It's kind of stupid when you think about it. In my opinion, they could have postponed this scene to the next episode or the episode after, but it's just right place at the wrong time. Because, okay, let me set up the scene. Gene meets with Sleeping Ace, and this is where he spills out the DGPT. And again, Gene is all happy and giddy and like, Ace, I finally know who you are, man. And here it is. Here's the quote. The quotes here. That strength of yours was always a mystery from the get-go. You fearlessly battled the Jamoto and went undefeated in tournaments. you were already well versed in the DGP. Normally, people's memories get erased when the world is remade anew, but yours weren't. Ace, you've reincarnated and generally participated in the DGP countless times since 1 AD. You have the power to inherit the memories of your past lives. You repeated the cycle of life for nearly 2,000 years, all to meet your mom. And all the while he was spilling the tea, you see Ace just half dead and just trying to get his coat. Well, he's trying to get trying to put on his coat while listening to what Jean had to say, and just he's half awoke. He looked uninterested and just he needed to go he wasn't in a rush for obvious reasons, but it just felt he wasn't in the mood. He didn't even care. Yuya, you missed your mark right there. And then after spilling the tea, Ace comes in and say, what if I were to tell you that everything you just said is true? Would you believe me? And Jean, being the super fan that he is, says, of course, I will always believe in you. And he goes on by saying, your life is so interesting. I should document this. The whole world needs to know the life of Ace and this and that. And then Ace comes in gingerly and just said, you know what, dude? I understand you're my fan, but my life is not meant for your amusement. Dude, chill out. And he gingerly continues leaving the waiting lounge, and Jean is concerned, dude, where are you going? You're still not off the sleeping curse. And Ace is like, don't worry about me. This is just jet lag. And he continues to leave. I don't know. This scene really misses mark because, again, guys, if you have the opportunity to rewatch the scene again, tell me in the comments below. Ace was not even there. You can tell by the look of his face. I'm half asleep. I just woke up and I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't know what else can I have to do to recreate this scene, but Jesus, it's just the episode, that scene alone just made the whole episode fall flat, in my opinion. So after the revelation, we go to Neon and KWA, and they're talking to their sponsors, and just tells them about Jean, and of course, okay, what's your reason for picking me? Situation. All we got from those scenes is be careful when you're around Jean. You never know this kid. And the reason behind me picking you, we all have our reasons. It's just another cop out. So we're never going to get an answer, at least not now. That was that scene there. We move on to Niram, and he gets news of what happened with Sumori and Chirami, and he gets upset, and he now decides to get involved. I'm like, dude, you should have gotten involved a whole lot sooner. That's just me, but yeah, you should have gotten involved a whole lot sooner. Yeah. So then we hit to Ace, and it's strange because after his talk with Jean, he just gingerously goes to this weird area and tries to go into some abandoned warehouse. Why? I don't know. Ace goes where the script tells him to go to. But before he tries to enter the warehouse, he just falls asleep again on the ground. And then we see two squid riders, and what it looks like they were about to kill him. And then Gene comes in and just beats the squid riders for a bit. Then the Mistress of Games herself appears yet again and tells Gene, hey, you're breaking one of my rules. The sponsors are not allowed to help out, so you need to go. Of course, Gene was like, screw you and your rules. I know what you're up to. Yeah, screw you. And he shoots at her, and we get this awesome scene of her blocking the shot, and you see fireworks in the background, explosions. And this is where Azu 2.0 says, you know what? Because of that, you're going to get a red card. So she transforms into Glare 2, and she mind controls her squid riders, gives them the powers of the Magnum and the monster buckles, and then it turns into a handicap match. Azu 2.0 and the two squid riders versus Gene. And yes, by the end of it, Gene is getting his ass kicked. And you see by the end of the scene, you see him screaming while flying across the warehouse with explosions behind, and he falls to the ground. And then we head to the final scene where one of the riders picks up the sleeping Ace, and the other rider points a gun to Ace. And this is where, Gene is helpless. He can't do anything. And as the rider shoots, you see a red bullet, and you see Gene screaming, yelling, and then that's the end. That's the end of the episode. It would be so funny if Gene just screams out, I love you, and then Ace just wakes up. It's like, what? What did you say? And then he wakes up, sees a bullet, and just punches the rider that holds him and just dodges. That's how he survives. It would be funny, but I don't think it's going to happen. But, obviously Ace is the star of the show. His rider form is like right there on the poster. So obviously he's going to survive. How? We don't know yet. I assume Neon and Kawa will come in and block the attack. Niram, maybe, but it will go against his interests, because remember, he wants to get rid of Ace too. But at the same time, he knows that he still needs Ace, so he may deflect that attack as well, maybe. But I believe that Ace is going to wake up and just dodges it. I think that's the way that's going to happen, but I don't know. Ace is Ace. Yeah. Overall, like I mentioned earlier, this episode fell flat due because of the stupid Chirami, scene, but more importantly, it's just the whole reveal of Ace's reincarnations, is him being the Kamen Rider avatar without the 4 elements thing. I mean, it just fell flat. Yeah, Yuya, I believe you could have been better off postponing that scene into a later time, but it fell flat. I have a theory I wanted to just put on you guys about the possibility of the sponsors being Ace's, Michinaga's, Keiwa's, and Neon's future children. And it's due to the fact of their forms, their Zord forms and their Rider forms. Because you have Azu 2.0, her Zord form is based off a bull. Michinaga is based on a buffalo. You have Kiru, who's based on a lion, while you have Neon, a cat. Jean as a fox, while Ace is a fox. And I don't know the relation between a raccoon and a frog. That is a mystery. I don't know what it is, but there must be a connection somewhere. Just something to think about, I guess. Because there's still a chance that Yuya might write down that these sponsors could be their children from the future. From a distant future, obviously. So, I don't know. That still is a possibility. Also, the whole reincarnation thing, I mean, my theory was Ace being a demigod. Even though, like, I would have preferred a demigod, but at least, with demigods, they age differently. And they're pretty much almost like elves in terms of age. It makes perfect sense. But Yuya decided to pull the Avatar thing, where I just explained it in the last recap about the Avatar and all that stuff. So I'm not gonna go over that again, for the sake of, I don't want to make this video too long. So yeah, the whole reincarnation stuff fell flat, and also I already knew. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, in my opinion. The only thing that is still fuzzy is what happened with Ace's first life as a Roman and his first reincarnation in Edo, Japan. Like, what happened in between? Because did the DGP exist in the Roman Empire? Because we saw Ace's Roman life as a young child. So how would a young child participate in the DGP? I mean, so soon. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense to me. Especially when Izu wished for his spirit to come back in different time periods. So, someone in the comments below, can you explain the time, the gap between Ace the Roman and Ace the Samurai? That's the part that's missing. Because right now I'm just trying to think, and the more I think, the more my head hurts. So, so like I said before, the episode fell flat, and it just missed its mark overall. So tell me, guys, what you guys think of episode 27. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? If you dislike it, just go in the comments below and the reasons why you dislike it and what would you change. Thank you so much for listening, and please give a like and subscribe because it really helps, and I'm close to 100 subscribers, so please help me get there. Also, for people who didn't like it, thank you so much for listening towards the very end, at the very least. And yeah, I'll see you all next week with the new upgraded form of Ace, and I will see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Journey!